In the city of Al-Mu'adin, nestled in a valley of silver mines, the wealth flowed in one direction, upwards, crippling taxes on everything: the looms, the ovens, the water from the public wells, even the sunlight that dried laundry on rooftops, claiming it illuminated taxable property. Families were torn apart, their men forced into the dangerous mines to pay debts that only ever grew. The Sultan, a kind but distant and aging man, remained oblivious in his palace, surrounded by courtiers who were in Walid's pocket. The city's despair was a silent scream, choked by fear. In a small, dusty house at the city's edge lived a blind weaver, Brother Yusuf, and his daughter, Layla. Layla was the soul of their home. Her hands could make a loom sing, creating textiles of such beauty that they seemed to be woven from light and prayer. But from birth, Layla had never spoken a word. She communicated through her expressive eyes, gentle hands, and the eloquent silence of her actions. She was the secret scribe of the neighborhood's pain, feeling every injustice as if it were a thorn in her own flesh. One afternoon, Walid's collectors, brutal men with hard eyes, came for their neighbor, Ayman, a widow whose son was deep in the mines. She had nothing left but a single chicken that provided her with eggs. They demanded the livestock tax. When she couldn't pay, they seized the chicken, her last source of sustenance. Layla watched from her doorway, her hands clenched into fists of helpless rage. That night, as her father recited the Quran, the verse reverberated in her silent world. "And what is the matter with you that you do not fight in the cause of Allah and for the oppressed among men, women, and children?" Quran 4 hours 75 minutes. The words struck her with the force of a physical blow. What is the matter with you? The question was a direct challenge. Her silence was not an excuse, it was a condition. Her blindness was not a limitation, it was a different way of seeing. She could not fight with a sword, but she could weave. She could not shout, but she could show. She began her rebellion that very night. While the city slept, she worked her loom. But she was not weaving beautiful patterns for the market. She was weaving a story. Using threads of stark black, bloody crimson, and a sorrowful gray, she began to create a tapestry. It was a visual indictment. She wove the image of the widow Ayman, her hands empty and outstretched. She wove the haggard faces of the children working in the mines. She wove the tax master, Walid, not as a man, but as a giant, faceless scale, crushing tiny figures beneath it. She worked in secret, her father her only confidant. "What are you making, my light?" he would ask, his blind eyes turned toward the rhythmic clacking of the loom. "Truth," she would spell into his open palm. When the first tapestry was complete, it was a masterpiece of suffering. But how to show it? The mosque was the heart of the community, but the imam was cautious, afraid of Walid's wrath. Layla had a plan. Under the cover of the deep night, with the help of a few brave children, she scaled the walls of the grand mosque's courtyard. They hung the massive tapestry on the high wall facing the entrance.